let's start. Welcome to the episode of Hallmark Heartbeats, a podcast all about Hallmark movies. I'm your host, Camille, and today I am honored to be joined by Ray Thunderchild and Paul Grenier, stars of the newest Hallmark movie that just came out called Journey of My Heart. And I want to thank you both for joining me. I mean, I love the movie. I'm such a huge fan of the movie and the message and everything. And, we're going to talk more about it. But for our listeners, would you guys take your time and introduce yourselves, what you guys, your previous works? And also, I know you both are indigenous actors. I was wondering if you guys would say what tribe you guys are part of.
Okay.
Right.
Let me start, okay? Okay, here's how I do it. Tansa no ako magantik kapin to tami ko muta. Kinanas kum kana akyo. Kapin to tawi kawito ano muta kawa kape big squash to sneaks ko. Ito tamo quest tan sumakawito Existe pega gito an manchos niya chihas magay kami na Ray Thunderchild dapat titan ego mawabs ko ya sa gimi tuiko. Now, if you can understand that, you got a problem. No, just kidding. What I said in there, proper protocol for an elder to introduce himself in the language first before I do the borrowed language.
Okay.
And my language.
That is so sweet. Wow, thank you for that.
My language is the Plains Cree from Saskatchewan, Canada, and like I said, what I said on there is that I wanted to thank everybody for coming here to listen to what we have to say because we do have a story. That's what I said on there.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your language. That's beautiful. And what was your previous works, if you had, before Journey of My Heart? Some of them?
Oh, I was quite a few of them, but I can't quite remember it all. Like, I don't keep track of them at all, As a matter of fact, when I first started acting over 25 years ago, I used to keep all the scripts, and I figured I wanted to see how many scripts I can keep. Now they became good, fire starters or campfires. They became good for that. But I stopped using them. I don't even watch myself on TV, but I had to watch this. I don't. I'm my own worst critic.
Understandable.
Yeah, and because I just don't like to see myself. I guess I don't like how other people see me. It's a phobia.
Paul?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Ray on this one. I can't remember all of my credits, but Ray and I worked together on Blackstone, which was fun.
And the 100.
And the 100, yeah. And so we always seem to get paired up, which is pretty nice. And before filming this show, Journey of My Heart, I was actually in Australia filming a show called Pieces of Her. And that was kind of fun. Who am I kidding? It was amazing.
What tribe are you part of?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have introduced myself. I'm Chanupa Dakota First Nations.
Wow.
I can't speak my language though.
Aw.
I can barely speak English.
But that's the other thing too, is that I know that a lot of indigenous people, they have lost their language. I feel really sad about that too.
Yeah.
Well, I was one of the lucky ones that kept mine because I did go to residential school too. But the kind I went to was a day school. So I get to go home at night and continue my language.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so Cree is my first language. English is my second language.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. So this movie is actually, I think, the first Hallmark movie that featured indigenous actors. How did it feel to be part of that history? To be that?
I guess for me, it's like, it's something. It's something to look at in a way of as an indigenous actor. I guess for myself, it's quite a remarkable achievement to have made it this far and be in a movie such as that. I've already walked the red carpet, so
Yeah.
I'm moving forward. There's some things better. Someday I'll get a good lead starring role, or maybe not.
Hey, you never know. Shoot, what kind of role would you like to take? Would you like to get?
Some kind of like a professor or a lawyer.
Oh yeah, you actually would. You actually did sort of give off professor vibes in this movie, though, with your knowledge and stuff.
Thank you.
No, I mean, I was telling somebody, her husband's family is Native American. And she was saying that one thing that she was so happy to do is show her daughter this movie because she's never seen herself on screen. You know what I mean? She's never had that opportunity to see other people that look like her on screen. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's gotta be special, you know.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it should be.
Yeah, it definitely is. So how was it working with Lucy, Rhiannon, and the rest of the cast? You both said that you worked on 100. Were you working with Lucy on Rhiannon, and when she was there too, or no? So was this your first time working with Lucy, Rhiannon, Darian, and them?
And Grace? Yeah. It was my first time meeting all of them. I gotta say, absolute professionals. And Lucy has such clarity of vision, and it was really something special because she also, everything starts at the top of the pyramid, right? And Lucy really set the tone by just being so open and loving to everyone. So every day going to set was like going to hang out with your family. It was really, really, really special. So it was amazing.
Yeah, that was.
And the same, everyone else was the same. But I really feel like Lucy really set the tone for that. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and she was so friendly too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was the best part.
Yeah.
However, you can't see that smile through those masks.
The location where you guys filmed was pretty remote, correct?
I mean, it was out in the sticks.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, the scenery was drop dead gorgeous. I just talked to Lucy and Rhiannon yesterday, and we were just talking about how beautiful the land is over there and stuff like that. Do you have any behind the secrets, that you want to share about filming with the other cast?
It does. It's a situational, right?
What about you, Ray?
Well, you know what? With let's just say Grace. So let's start off with Grace at first, okay? It's not a secret for me, because the first time I met her, it was at the Kanata Festival downtown Vancouver. I was the master of ceremonies, and she honored me by coming to sit beside me where she wanted to learn how to be a master of ceremony. She was taking notes on how I do it. And, it's just like you and I talking right now. It's just normal for me to grab that microphone, and once I grab that microphone, I'm totally different. Even my wife told me once, she said, sometimes when you grab that microphone, I don't even know who you are. You totally transform into somebody that teaches.
Wow.
Well, it's good though. But Grace and I, like, I have a lot, I have a lot of admiration for Grace. I really do. Like now that I worked with her, it was so good to see her again. Sometimes, it was just, I see her momentarily sometimes, but not very often. But when I do see her, a few far between. But for Lucy, that was the first time I ever met Lucy. No, I worked with her. There was another show. Oh, I can't remember that now. Because like I said, I don't keep track of. I know I have a resume, but I don't keep track of what I do. My agent does all that.
Yeah. Well, that's what about yeah, I mean, Grace, I feel like her character exudes kindness, like through the screen, and like, pure of heart kind of thing. Even she should have done more. She should have been on the movie more, I feel.
No, just kidding. No.
Grace totally, sorry to interrupt you there, Ray.
No.
One thing I noticed, because like all my scenes were with, well, not all of them, but most of them were with Grace. And she has so much power, and she's never shy about projecting her power as well, and like just existing in it, which is, it's really, really like, it's stunning to behold when you're there, like in the moment, because then like all of a sudden you're getting empowered too because of her energy.
Yeah.
So it's really, there's a fierceness in her eyes too, that you're just like you're a powerful individual. And yeah, I really liked working with her.
It definitely showed on screen. There are some actors like, but it doesn't. I felt that when the camera did close-ups of her, she felt like she was exuding, grace and power. The name fits. Let's just put it that way. Even because it's peaceful,
Mm-hmm.
I kept mistaking her name for Grace Love, or I did not realize it was Grace Dove.
Is that her real name? Or is that just her screen name?
Yeah. Is it Love or Dove?
It's Dove.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Well, what was your favorite part of the whole experience filming the movie?
Mine was receiving that eagle feather from Lucy and the crew. They came there. That eagle feather I was using on that scene, and my niece put beadwork on it. So I have it sitting in front of my TV, and my wife says, usually you're not a very sentimental kind of person, but why you put it there? So why not? It looks good there. Beat it. It's already done, and it's going to be there forever.
Yeah.
I got that feather from that eagle they were using in that show.
Wow.
What was the name of the eagle?
It's quite an honor. You didn't meet the eagle?
Unfortunately, I didn't.
I went up there and I looked at it. But like I said, when that feather fell off, that's when Lucy came and gave it to me. And I think it was after the scene, right?
I don't remember. I think she gave it to you when we were just got out of wardrobe and hair and makeup. Okay. We were waiting to go on the set.
Well, that's the same feather that was on the scene anyways. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
was a lot of the scenes that you had where you were explaining the significance of eagles and eagle feather to Abby, was like all that, was that real, like really based on Native American legend kind of thing? I actually looked to find that the Eagle and the Moon, to see if that was an actual book, but I didn't see it as a book, but I did see a YouTube video saying that it was based on a Native American myth or something about Eagle and the Moon. But
well, it's like I said on my roll on there, the eagle feather is very highly praised in the culture that I come from. Okay, because the eagle feathers or the eagles are the ones to fly closest to the creator.
Yeah.
And this is a short story I like to share sometimes about my late father when we buried him. And there's never been eagles around our area, but as soon as we buried my grandfather, looked up, saw an eagle up there.
Wow.
Flying higher and higher till it disappeared.
Wow.
Why that's to us we took that, so we started singing a song. There's a certain songs we sing for that.
Actually, when speaking of the eagle feather and the story, Ray was kind enough to teach us all about the different length sides of the eagle feather and the length and what it means in his cultural, his tribe. And Lucy was sitting there with us in a big circle. I believe
Was that the picture that you posted?
Yeah, and it was my first time hearing that story, so thank you, Ray.
Yeah, you're welcome. I've known that pretty well the majority of my life, I guess, growing up from my late grandparents. And they told me a lot of other stuff that they taught me too, like I said, but in the language of that I come from too.
That's beautiful. I've never seen an eagle. I've never seen.
They're huge.
Huh?
They're huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so dangerous.
Yeah. Look at those huge claws.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When they get a hold of you, look out. When the eagle's mad at you, it'll come at you. Talons first.
Don't come near their nest when they have the babies. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, we use the eagle feather, the eagle, every part of the body of the eagle in our culture. The head, the claws, even the bones. That's where the Sundance is coming from. They use those eagle bones.
Yeah.
That's what they use for Sundance.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, do you guys do powwows or whatever? I've seen some of the outfits that they're beautiful.
Oh yeah. You know what? I grew up in that culture. I grew up in I guess in the powwow world because my family belonged into that. We had a very prominent powwow drum group in my family. All my brothers, my uncle, my grandpa, my dad, we were all singers.
Wow.
So I grew up a singer since I was 5, and I'm 65 now.
Wow.
I've been a singer all my life. I grew up with it. My late father was always singing. My late grandfather in a little log cabin growing up in Saskatchewan. That's all we heard. That's all I ever heard growing up. And the language. That's all I ever heard.
What about you, Paul?
I've never even been to one. The only festival I've ever been to where there was singing and dancing I think it was at the Friendship Center, and I believe Ray, you were in a drum circle and you were singing, and then you had a whole bunch of people with you and you're all banging on that big drum.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm the leader of a drum group. Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe Eric was there. Eric Schwig.
Yeah.
And it was that was my first time ever being to anything like that. I grew up in foster care my whole life, so I wasn't really exposed to my own culture or history. It wasn't until I became an actor. And if you're First Nations or a person of a different cultural heritage, you tend to audition for and work on roles that suit what your cultural history is and your cultural background is. And so a lot of what I've learned about my own cultural history, my heritage, and other people's histories was through the work, because I had to learn it in order to at least come at a place of authenticity. So a lot of reading, a lot of talking to people, talking to elders, and getting the story, getting their stories and stuff like that. So I'm grateful for being an actor for that reason, because I don't think I would have sought out my cultural heritage if it weren't for acting, because it just wasn't a part of who I was growing up.
Yeah.
So,
I grew up in foster care too. And
oh, really?
I was raised by a Black family. And I love my family very much. But that is one thing that I got away. I was taken from me too, was I'm Filipino and I don't know my language. I don't know a lot of my culture kind of thing. I was raised in a Black household, so I know more about, their culture, their stuff than my own. And really, when I moved back to my parents' house at 18, and here in Hawaii, we have a lot of Filipino population. That's when I got reintroduced to my own culture kind of thing. But I still, in a way, feel like I stand out because I still don't speak the language. A lot of things are still a mystery to me that, we take for granted or whatever,
I totally agree with that because I grew up in a lot of like short-term foster homes, for whatever reason. But the one thing that I noticed, and there was some decent foster homes, some not so decent, but there's no question and there's no doubt in my mind that there's a lot of love for us and that we're viewed as, like, because my brother was in foster care as well and it's my twin, and we were clearly loved, but at the same time that sense of you just not belonging doesn't go and it doesn't go away, and you can pretend like it does, but I was never at peace with that for some reason. I don't know why, and I would fake it during Christmas and events and stuff like that, but yeah, for some reason I just didn't. And it wasn't until I met my partner, who's currently in Vancouver, that I feel like I'm truly home.
Yeah.
So it's really weird. Sorry, I didn't mean to drag that down a little bit.
No, this is
No, that was good, man. That's good. That's good. It's really good to hear that. Because I, for one, let me tell you something. I, for one, is very, very fortunate to be raised by both my parents, both my grandparents, on both sides, and then all my aunts and all my uncles. And I come from a huge family. I come from a family of 12, 6 boys, 6 girls, and I'm the third oldest of the whole litter. And I have one sister a year younger than me. But now there's 9 of us now. 3 passed away so far, along with my father. And one of them was, 10 years ago, my baby sister passed away. And then this last year, on April 4th, one of my brothers passed away from COVID in Washington.
Wow.
Just this April 17th, they buried my baby brother. Died of COVID also.
I'm sorry to hear that, Ray.
Yeah, it's really taken a toll on all of us, It creates, then I had to talk to my family after that, let them know that COVID is real. Go get immunized.
Yeah.
Because they were one of those ones that were against the needle.
Yeah.
And it took something like this to awaken all my family.
Yeah, sadly, that statistically Native Americans had COVID affected them the most in the United States and stuff. And pretty much Black and brown people and stuff, but it sucks.
You know what? We the indigenous people, the original land keepers, we do have a lot of medicines that work for us. And fighting against a lot of that.
Yeah.
And let's say something like myself, just recently in March 8th, I've been in perfect health until I had a heart attack.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's been like a rough ride for me for the past couple of months now. Kept getting triggers like that was, you know, I'm not even supposed to drive and I'm still driving.
I hope you're better.
Oh, I'm getting, you know, every day gets a lot better for me. You know, I'm not one that every day, everybody keeps telling me rest. Oh, come on.
Like that's not in your vocabulary.
It's not nowhere near. You can't keep me down.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what my wife always says, you know, you're a hard man to keep down. I've been an active person all my life, and that's how I'm gonna die.
We want you to stay alive for as long as you can.
Oh, same here.
You have so much knowledge, I feel.
Yeah.
But we touched upon this earlier. We wanted to ask. Earlier this year, we found the graves of. God, I hate talking about this because I always cry. But we found the graves of the children under the residential schools. Ray, I'm so glad that you got away from that. And so did you, Paul. I mean, foster care wasn't exactly ideal either. But do you guys know anyone who are survivors personally, and how can we help as, you know, look outsiders? I didn't even know about residential schools, and I feel like so bad that I didn't know all this time. How can we help, if anything, with that, with survivors, with looking, with anything?
Just listen to them. That's all. They have a story to tell. Listen to them. There's nothing you can do to fix that, only because you weren't there.
Yeah.
And you know, so therefore, listening to them, sometimes just getting it off their chest is a big healing process. Talking about it. You know, sometimes some of them won't open up.
Yeah.
There are some people who want to heal. I have many, many stories about myself, even in day school. We went through lots in that day school too. You know, the things that are, how they say, what happened in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
But here, what happens in this classroom stays in there. Nothing you can do about it.
It's just horrible.
Well, that's the way it was. It's like I'll tell you, the mandate of the government and the churches were kill the Indian, save the man. That's why they were trying to, assimilate us. It worked for some people, but not all. There's very few of us that went to that day school that still keep the language. And most of my family speak the language. We're all over 50 now, so we're in the grandparent stage now. We're no longer the uncle, the brother, stage. We're in the grandparents, great-grandparent stage already. So I myself, I only have one son, one child, and probably that's as old as Paul. My son is 33.
I'm way older than that.
Okay, there you go.
I'm 35.
Yeah, that's how many children I got. I only got one son. That's all. I never wanted kids, but one came along.
But does your son know your language also?
No, he doesn't. He was raised by his mother. His mother, well, it's a long story. I don't want to get into that either.
Sorry.
No, but my son and his sister, they're trying to learn the language. So I do my best to try to teach them. But, they live in a different province. I live in BC. They live in Alberta. And it's hard for me to communicate with them because they work all the time, too.
Yeah.
It's like me. I'm always working, too. The job I got requires me to travel a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I work for the Indian Residential School Survivors Society. I'm a support worker in that, so it's a heavy job.
Yeah.
It's
You guys have a very important job. The job of helping those survivors and stuff. It's just horror. I've been watching and listening to a lot of the stories of the indigenous people. Is just so sad. Like,
and you know what this experience helped me with?
what?
It helped me with my role on this movie.
Mm.
Yeah, because normally that's how I would just sit down and talk to whoever it is that I need to talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hat I wear. So I use that to my advantage because, you know, like I said, this is a role where I thought when I looked at that, I said, I got to put on a hat. My wife looked at me. She said, "Ray, just be you," she said.
Yeah.
And I just did. I just went by me. Like I said, I watched it only because like I was curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have a lot of friends on Facebook already looking at calling me. Hey, I watched that show last night. And the hell are you doing in it? I said, you know, it's fun. But they really liked it.
That's good. I loved it too. There are a lot of good things about it. What message do you guys want viewers to take from this movie?
You know what? I guess for me, like with that young lady, had a vision of finding these beetles, and she went ahead, went through everything to get to see her vision.
Mm-hmm.
It said like this show is all about having a vision and following up with it.
Following through with it.
Yeah, follow through with it, and you'll end up with a good result. Always, don't follow your gut; just follow your vision.
Mm-hmm. Trust yourself.
Yeah. You have any other projects coming up? Both of you guys?
None for me right now, no.
Yeah, me either. Lots of auditioning. I'm very fortunate that I get to read for as many roles that I do. But for right now, everything's.
That's the way I am doing. I audition, nothing happens. I guess I just don't have the look.
I'm hoping to see more of you guys. I mean, you guys are you have such powerful messages, and I'm so honored and so grateful to be trusted with your stories. And thank you, Paul. I mean, really, your story about being a foster care really touched me and stuff, because like I'm there. I'm there, I aged out of foster care when I was 18, and I'm still like learning, I guess, my own stuff. And I still don't know the language, I wish I did, but.
Never too late.
Yeah, I know, it's never too late. My parents tried to teach us, is try to talk to us and stuff. I love my foster parents. I don't regret them. I lived with them for 7.5 years, and there's nothing in this world that could happen that would make me not love them. But that is one thing that I wish that I had too. It's my experience with my culture, and stuff. And so, Mr. Ray, thank you so much for like speaking your language and telling us your story. And it's an honor. And I hope you have the greatest health, because I don't want you to leave this earth too soon.
Trust me, me neither. I'm carving this totem pole right now. I need to finish it.
Okay. Thank you, guys.